Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is new drug application NDA. We have already seen the clinical trial phases, and already we have discussed regarding the what happens in various phases of the clinical trial. And NDA is among those processes which sponsor or a manufacturer have to complete or have to ask to get the approval, have to apply to the FDA or any authorities who are related to that. So for that purpose, this what you say that NDA is required, and we are going to discuss today what actually the NDA is, that what are components in NDA it is there, and we are going to see the new drug applications in USA means to the FDA as well as in Indian scenario also. So let's start with the what you say that new drug applications on yeah, the components as well as the what you say that process of NDA. So new drug application. If we see that it is a critical component of drug approval process, which is required to submit to US FDA before drug commercialization. Means before you want to sell the drug, you have to apply this new drug application. So the data gathered from the annual studies and the human clinical trials and become a part of NDA. So whatever data you have gathered either in the trial of the investigation new drug, and that will be a part of the your new drug application. If you see the process, then NDA here means after the phase 3, when you are planning to move to the market, then before entering into the market you have to fulfill and get the approval from the authorities or FDA. So for that you are going to apply the new drug application. What actually the goal of the new drug application NDA? So the goal of the NDA is to provide enough information to permit the FDA reviewers to stabilize the following. First, drug is safe and effective in proposed use, wherever you want to use, either it is drugs proposed labeling, that is package insert is appropriate, and what should it contain. So all the labeling parameters which should be followed and all is perfectly what you say that perfectly has been followed by the this manufacturer or not, that just to make sure that it is correctly informations are provided correctly or not, whether the methods used in manufacturing of the drug and the controls used to maintain the drug's quality are adequate to preserve the drug's identity, strength, quality, and purity. So, in a way, NDA will actually verify the quality of the drug in all the ways, from the efficacy till the drug information provided in the leaflets, and to the purity as well as the strength or whatever is formulated. So NDA, after NDA we can if we want to make sure that the drug whatever has been given is properly collected, properly formulated, as well as the what you say that free as well as the quality of the drug has been maintained, a purity of the drug has been maintained properly. So if you see the rule, laws and regulation policies and procedures, then CFR 22 is the final regulation published in Federal Register 23 dealing with this record proposal, that is collected in CFR. The CFR is divided into 50 titles which represent broad area subjects to the federal regulations. The FDA's portion of the CFR interpret the Federal Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act 24 and related statutes. Section 21 of CFR 25 contains all the regulations pertaining to food and drugs. The regulations documents all actions of all the drugs sponsors that are required under the federal law. 21 CFR Part 314.26. It is the application for the FDA approval to the market a new drug or an antibiotic drug. So under this 314 applicant, we have 356H, which is instructions, then 3397, which is use fee of cover sheet, and 3331 is new drug application field report. If we move further, then we move further with that. Then we have the classification of NDA. We have a new molecular entity and a new salt of previous approved drugs. And if it is new formulation of previously approved drug or new combination. So for these things, these are the classification of the NDA. Means these are the types of NDA which can be applied. So already marketed products or their duplication, that is the new manufacturer is going to enter, and new indication if it is there for already marketed drugs and already marketed drugs but not previously approved by the NDA, approved NDA. If we see the NDA in the USA, we have Section 201 Federal Food and Drug Act. Any new drugs, new drugs except new drugs for animal, that is feed bearing or containing any what do you say that bearing or containing a new animal drugs or compositions which is such as that drug is not generally recognized among the experts qualified by the scientific training experience, or any drug which is given for the some such new conditions to under safety and effectiveness for such new conditions. So for that we can apply for that. We'll see this in detail in later slides. First, we see the NDA process. Just briefly, we'll see that new chemical entity has been found, then preclinical study will be done, then all preclinical study will be finished. After that, IND will be applied, and then clinical trial phases as well as preclinical studies. Everything will be collected, data will be collected properly, and after collecting the data of clinical trials and preclinical studies, NDA will be applied. So after NDA application, it will be under the if it get approved, it can go into the market and the post marketing stage will start. So once the somebody files the NDA, after that what will happen? It will go to the appropriate division of the FDA, and after that it will check that fillability of the application. If it is yes, then it will move to the reviewer. If it is no, it will return back to the applicant. So if it is yes, and if it is application fileable, then within 20 days, FDA will reviewers will give the report, and it will submit the review report to report CDER. And if the CDER is positive, then what you say that uh, sorry, if positive, then it will go to the marketing or authorization issue department, and they will issue the market authorization. But if has some negative point or if some corrections, then deficiency will be told, and the applicant will see that whatever FDA has told, and according to that, applicant will inform the FDA that either they want to reapply with the correction or they don't want. And once they will apply with the correction, with the corrections and whatever suggestion has been given, FDA will review everything again, and within 20 days again a review report will come. And if the report is positive, it will go to the marketing department and they will give the authorization. And if it is negative, it will be refused to the applicant. So this is the whole process of ND application, how it will move on. So it's like it's a review process, and it will not take much more than 120 days approximately 120 days it should take, because reviewers are getting just a time of 120 days to complete the review of NDA. Now NDA applications for the federal approval so needs to be submitted in three copies, that archival copy, review copy, and field copy. Now, depending upon the type of nature of the drug, the following application needs to be submitted. If new drug is there, then new drug application. If biologicals license applications are the second type of applications can begin. Application US 505B2, that paper NDA, and a supplemental new drug application, that is SNDA. We'll see one by one each. Now, first is that new drug application fundamentals of NDA. Fund, Form 356H application to the market of new drug of human use or as an antibiotic drug for human use. NDAs can be consist of as many as 15 different sections. First is index, second is summary, then chemistry, manufacturing and control, then samples, methods, validation, package and labeling, then non-clinical, pharmacological and toxicological, then human pharmacokinetics and bioavailability, then clinical data, then safety update reports, then statistical data, then case report evaluation, then case report form, then patient information, patent certification, then other informations like marketing history of the drug, if any, or any microbiological microbiological outside of the any microbiological report is there, then also that should be submitted. So, and at last, concluding discussion, the benefit and risk consideration and proposed additional studies or post-marketing surveillance plans. What actually the NDA should contain? It has first section, that is our overall NDA index. The NDA index is comprehensive table of content that enables the reviewers to find specific information in this massive document quickly. Labeling, second section is that it is must include all the draft labeling. While third is that application summary, it will have the summary of the all the applications like pharmacological class or scientific rationals for marketing history, chemistry and manufacturing, non-clinical pharmacological or toxicological summary, human pharmacokinetics and bioavailability, or microbiology summary or clinical data summary and results analysis and discussion benefit risk relationship. And so uh, what to say, yeah. Then chemistry and manufacturing and control, and section 4 will have chemistry, manufacturing and controls. It will have chemistry, manufacturing, controls, informations and samples and methods, validation and packaging. While section 5 will have all the individual study reports including pharmacology, toxicology and ADME studies. Then ED50 and dose raising studies also will be told in this pharmacodynamic. All the data will be given in that. Part of that interaction with other drugs also will be mentioned in section 5 only. Section 6 will have human pharmacokinetics and bioavailability. Here all the kinetic parameters should be told. All the pharmacokinetic studies have been done. Whatever has been done, that report should be given properly, with the pilot and background studies also should be provided in this. Seventh is microbiology, includes the anti-infective drug products, includes it's in those products. A complete description of biochemical basis of the drug action, microbiology, microbial physiology should be mentioned here, and drug antimicrobial spectrum should be told here clearly. Then clinical microbiology laboratory methods also should be mentioned here in this. Then section 8 will have the clinical data, which includes the investigators and the list of INDs and NDAs, background or clinical pharmacology, controlled clinical trials or uncontrolled clinical trials if there other studies and informations, integrated summary of effectiveness of the data, integrated summary of safety informations, drug abuse and other overdose informations, integrated summary of the list of the drugs. While section 9 will have the safety data, statement of the draft labeling, contraindications, warnings, precautions and adverse events. While section 10 will have statistical data, all the controlled clinical trial reports and integrated application and safety summaries and integrated summary of risk and benefits. While if you see the section 11, it has the case report tabulation, includes the complete tabulation for each patient or well-controlled phase 2, second and phase 3 efficacy clinical pharmacology studies. While case section 12 will have case report forms and apart case report form. So apart of that, we have that application itself consists a cover letter and completed form of FDA 356H, along with several supporting items such as 13 that patient information, patent certifications, stabilization descriptions, development certification. So these are the other information which should be provided in that, which we have seen in those that list. Then field copy certification and use fee cover sheet and financial disclosures and other or pediatric use if you want to tell. A part of the NDA we had for second type, that is the biological license applications and required for the section requires under section 351 of Public Health Service Act before a biological product is introduced into the interstate commerce. Now, what this will contain, this will have from FDA 356H manufacturing information, then product manufacturing information, source of material, manufacturing process control, then formulation and facilities information, then contaminations or cross contamination, environmental assessment, then clinical studies and labeling. If you go for the application US 505B2, that is paper NDA, this is NDA described for the Food, Drug and Cosmetic Act section 505B2, submitted under 505B1 and approved under section 505C of the Act. What is 505? Application is one for which one or more of the investigation relied upon the applicant for approval were not conducted by or for the applicant, and for which applicant not obtained the right of reference or use from the person by or for whom investigations were conducted. So got little confused, right? So don't worry, we will see that in next few slides you will get clear idea what actually this application US 505 B2 paper NDA is. So no need to worry about that by seeing this big statement. So okay, fine. This paragraph also will confuse you more. We'll see directly that how clear idea. Examples of 505B2 application is changing the dose forms, strength, formulation, route of administration, doses, regimen, change in formulation at rest, new indications, new combination products including substitution of active ingredients or different salts, esters, chelate, racemate, or an enantiomer of an active ingredient, or switching from prescription drug to OTC drugs, or drugs with natural derived or recombinant active ingredients where limited additional clinical data is required to show that ingredient is the same as the ingredient in the reference drug. So for these purpose, these are the examples of that for whom that 505B2 application are given. Now I think you are clear with this 505B2 application. These are the few examples cases like this amphotericin B or pentamidine or glycopyrrolate. These are the examples. So Section 505 describes three types of new drug application. That application with a full report of investigation, application containing full report of investigation, but where some data required approval becomes more studies not done because more studies are not conducted, or the applicant and for which applicant has not obtained the right of reference. Or third one is application for the product showing that product is identical in active ingredient dose forms or strength or route administrations or labeling the quality or performance and intended use of what you see that previously approved products. It is a supplemental new drug applications. Now fourth type which we have seen in that list, the fourth type is supplemental new drug. This is by the market authorization for the by the market authorization holder of the drug, and it is for the approval of changes after the approval by the drug. There's some slight modification if marketing authority have done. So if they want to apply those changes, then it is for that. Approval of the already approved drug for new indication. Approval of new blister, new salt or new dosage form of already approved drugs and products, and a change in the method of synthesis of the drug substances. So for these things, it's given, and a part of that, use of the different facilities or manufacture or drug substances where facility not have been approved through the inspection of the current good manufacturing practices, a change in the container or closure system for the product, extension of the expiration date for the drug product based on new stability data, then change in the formulation analytical standards or method of manufacture or in process controls of the drug product, or use of different facilities or contractor to manufacture or process or package the drug products. So for this purpose, supplemental new drug application SNDA are applied. Now, a part of that, we have NDA in India. These are the NDA in USA. So, if you go for the NDA in India, a drug is defined is in the act including the drug substances which has not have been used in country to any significant extent under the conditions prescribed. So, prescribed, recommended, or suggested in the labeling, therefore, has not been recognized and effective and safe by licensing authority for the proposed claim, provided that the limited use, if any, has been with the permission of the licensing authority. For this type of drug comes in this category is what you say that. Have to get the ND authorities permission or have to apply for the NDA in the India. So this is just all everything seen only. All the vaccines should be go under that, and a fixed dose combination should get the approval. A new drug continues to be considered new drug for the period of 4 years from the date of its approval. In India, it is like that, and its inclusion in the Indian pharmacopoeia, whichever is earlier. If you see that, as we have seen in USA, Indian procedure, how the NDA process will take place in India. So new chemical entity will be found and preclinical studies will be done. Then again here investigation IND will be applied. Then all the phases of the clinical trial will be done. And if it is marketed outer countries somewhere else, then this step can be skipped. So it will directly enter into the new drug application and submission to the DCGI, then review by DCGI, then approval in the form of 46 or 46A. So if you go for the applications for the approval manufacturing the new drug SLA or DCGI approval, then submission to the SLA, then a review by SLA, and then a pre-approval plant inspections, then approval by SLA. Then post-marketing surveillance will be done, and then adverse reaction reporting, and then approval of label and carton and package insert should be will be verified. So this is the whole process that how the drug approval will take place in India. Now, in India, the approval of manufacturing new drugs, Form 44, with the data appendix 1, Schedule Y regulatory status in the other countries, or BABE, prescribing info, samples, and testing protocols, etc., should be submitted or should be given. Now, approval from the DCGI and state licensing authorities are required, and since November 2010, NDA filing can be done through Common Technical Document, which is CTD. The approval issued as a manufacturer for sale. So the NDA in CDT format, because we have seen that just here that since 2010, filing can be done through the common CDTA. Now CDT triangle is that it has module 1, 2, 3, 4, so 5 modules are there. In module 1, application form is there, and then 2.1, annotated texted for the proposed labeling, then sample of labeling, then patent information, patent certification, and claimed exclusivity. Then in module 2, it will be summarized summaries, and 5.7 will have abuse potential, what the potentiality of the drug to get abused, and module 3 will have CMC. Module 4 will have non-clinical and pharmacological toxicological data. Module 5 will enter into the pharmacokinetics, then microbiology, clinical data, and statistical selections, and CRF and CRT. So this is the whole CDT triangle, which in India the manufacturer have to follow to get the approval of the drug. Now it is a common technical documents for IND, NDA, and NDA. It's a common just a brief summary of all the three. That in NDA what all documents are required according to the module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and ANDA what is required, and BLA what is there. So you can just go through this. Now if you see the document or information required along with the application of form 44 of NDA, different categories of NDA, is these are the documentation required. In A, the first one is that permission of manufacturing of the new drug. That brief introduction of the new drug, then chemical pharmacological information, animal pharmacology, animal toxicology, human clinical pharmacology, phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3 trials, all three trials, then bioavailability, then regulatory status of in other countries, then application for the test license, then proposed product monograph and draft of the labels and cartons, and then subsequent approval permission of the manufacturer drugs who are already approved, bioavailability or bioequivalence of the protocol, then name of the investigators or centers, then source of raw materials and stability of the data for the formulation, and for the raw materials or bulk drug substances, then manufacturing method should be what method you have applied, that report is required, and quality control parameters, and or both the analytical specifications, stability report should be given, and annual toxicity data should be provided. If you go for the approval or permission for the fixed dose combination, then therapeutic justification, and data of pharmacokinetics and pharmacodynamic combinations, means combinations both the combined, what their kinetics and dynamics parameters are there. So authenticated literature in peer-reviewed journals or textbooks are accepted in that. Any other data generated by the applicant on the safety and efficacy of the combination. A subsequent approval for the approval for new drug, new indication, new dose forms, number of data of approval already granted, and therapeutic justification for new claim or modified dosage forms, and data generated of the safety, efficacy, and quality parameters are required, are the documents required. If you see that NDA and versus the ANDA, then NDA applicable for the new drugs, applicable for the generic drugs. It will take longer time and it will take less time, and then more expenditure of for the money comparatively less, and cost of drugs are more, cost of drugs are less. The non-clinical studies and clinical investigations are essential, while non-clinical and clinical investigations are non-essential except the bioavailability and bioequivalence. So this was the full NDA data which we have covered, and I hope you have understood a little bit about the NDA new drug application. So if you see the new drug application before entering to the market is really necessary uh, to get confirmed that the drug is working properly, and it is really an important factor to understand that or it's an important factor to make sure that drug should not have adverse effect more than the benefit. So for the same purpose, it is required to move on with the and the application to make sure that we should not get shocked after going to the market. So before going to the market only, we should be able to confirm that whatever things or whatever are data we are collecting till now is sufficient for that what you say that to get a good market into a good marketing what you say in the society, or the drug will act very perfectly. So with this we'll finish that NDA and all. So thank you.